We are live. This is the NBA Rundown. The channel is Nuke the House, and I'm joined today by JC Zargo, aka Daddy Zargs. JC, we had a nice night last night. I got up. I was excited to go over the card, and I told you right before the show, I'm glad you're here today because everything I liked, the more I dug into the game, the more I had a reason to go on the other side. The good thing about that is it should make for some good conversation today because I can play devil's advocate for whatever you end up landing on, and I have a couple plays circled, but I haven't yet to put a tag or place a bet yet today. So I'm excited to see how you feel about things today. It was nice to just sweep the board last night, and only regret was we didn't add that Phoenix lean, which we all felt pretty strong on, and I don't know how that didn't end up getting bet, but that's in the past, and we're looking to the future. Did you watch the NBA last night, or were you pucking around?
Yeah, I was locked in on hockey. I mean,
Okay.
for those that didn't see, just the start of that Rangers-Devils game, I mean, just had me hooked the whole night. So puck dropped, and then all 10 guys started fighting, like one-on-one fights. It was crazy. So I
Wait,
was
why was that? Was there like some beef between the teams?
yeah, it stemmed from like their last meeting. And it's just crazy because like that'll happen. Like guys will drop gloves at the beginning of a game, but normally it's just like two guys. Whereas like whoever you were next to, everybody just started clobbering the other person.
Did they eject everybody, or how does that work? Did they all get new lines? Was it one-on-one? Like, did they
Yeah, I
all go to
mean,
the penalty box, and it's just a one-on-one skating match?
no, because golly, I don't even how did that result?
That's interesting. All right, well, if
I
you
didn't even think
remember.
about it. Yeah, I mean, because one of those things where it's all even, so like nothing really
Okay.
happens. But it wasn't like there were 10 guys in the box. Um, I didn't even look over. Wow, that's a great
Yeah,
question.
well, if you find that, I'm going to give you my review because I did have eyes
Okay.
on the association last night. I felt pretty strongly about that Lakers game. 5-star was on the Wizards too. We should have added that one. My only concern there was I felt the bets were completely correlated. The idea being, and I said this yesterday, if the Wizards didn't cover, it probably wasn't going over. So that was the only reason I didn't double down. But we did see the Wizards. I don't know. I mean, they kind of put up a fight, right? And Los Angeles is worried about winning, not covering. I think that's something we can take advantage of for their larger spreads. LeBron caught Denny Avija with quite the elbow there. That was one of the worst ones I've seen. And I'm not trying to say it was an intentional. I don't think it was intentional, right? But I mean, he took a shot. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up getting a concussion from that one. The Magic game was another one that made me feel good and happy about my
Mm-hmm.
handicapping prowess as the
Mm-hmm.
forwards for the Orlando Magic just once again showed that the Pelicans are great on the perimeter on the defense, but you attack them through size. And I don't when it comes down to it, man, it's just like I don't know. I know Tyler's so much higher on the Pelicans than I am. I just can't trust like when your number one guy is so lazy, and I think that permeates the culture of the team. And I just, if it comes into a shoot fight, I'd rather have Paolo than Zion right now.
Sure.
Which is wild if you think about the way they were as prospects, right? Zion was supposed to be this generational prospect. Paolo was a pretty good player that we all thought was going to go number 3, right? So, it just shows you how much hard work and work ethic has to do with this. And a lot of times in the NFL draft as well, they talk about that, the differencing factor. When a guy falls or rises up the board, you want a guy that's going to commit to the sport here. So I'll happily keep fading the Pelicans. And Zion might be one of those guys that just figures it out by the time it's too late because I don't think he's going to age very well. I think he's got about 3 or 4 years left of being able to do this. I think his body's going to fall apart. But we'll see. I thought LeBron would be winding down about 2018 and 2019, and here we are in 2024. And I do have my criticisms of him, but he's still a top 15 player, which is insane at his age. At his age, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar didn't even run back on offense half the time. When Magic Johnson led the fast break back in 84, 85, when I first started watching basketball, Kareem would just stay down on the defensive end. He said, there's no reason for me to run down there. And here you got LeBron just crushing people off the dribble and finishing through contact. What else do we watch? Phoenix can beat anybody. I just don't think they could win a championship. But I still think they're alive in any series because when those guys get hot, you just watch Booker and KD in the mid-range, and even against good defense, which I felt Cleveland played last night, they're unstoppable. I think Cleveland has a lot of problems. I feel like Donovan Mitchell kind of rushed it back, and he's not integrating that well. And, we're just seeing how much some of those periphery pieces of that meant to that team. I'm not high on Cleveland right now, but if Mitchell gets healthy, and we're still 2 weeks away from these playoffs kicking off, right? If he plays himself back into shape and starts to feel 100%, they're dangerous too. But right now, they're a fade. What else did I have on? Oh, the Milwaukee Bucks. That's what everybody's talking about. I mean, it's consistent mismanagement from the offseason. They fired a coach when they didn't have anyone better to replace him. Then they fired that coach when he was 30-13, and they replaced him with an inferior coach. And I'm glad that Giannis likes him better, but the results stick for themselves. Rivers already has more losses in 30 games than Griffin did in 45. The trade of Jrue Holiday really doomed that team because now they don't have an identity. They're kind of good on offense. They're kind of good on defense, right? They just can't get the stops when they need to. And I don't think Giannis is 100% either. And when I was watching him last night, that wasn't the dominant guy. And I know he's played through injuries in the past, but how many years can you do that? So Milwaukee, to me, is a team that, yes, they can be dangerous, especially because every team in the East except for Boston has flaws. But I'm watching that last night, and just like we talked about Mitchell not being 100% and hurting his team, I don't think Giannis is hurting his team because you look at who'd replace him, and it's just terrible. But he's not the same guy, and he's been carrying that team, and I don't know if he's physically capable of carrying that team. Might be time to shut him down just for a little while because this version of Giannis, I don't think he can even get them through the first round, depending on the matchup. So, and I had one other game on, but I don't know. Obviously, it didn't catch my attention that much if I can't remember. It was the Nets. The Nets and the Pacers.
Yeah, that one hurt.
The Nets are the best bad team in the NBA. It's either the Nets, the Grizzlies, or the Spurs. But you just
I wouldn't put the Spurs just have Wemby. Like the Spurs suck.
It just makes them. I won't fade them like minus 16.
Sure.
Whereas I don't know why we're not fading Toronto every single night until it gets to like 24. I mean, it's not even close. And I already said it yesterday, but when fans are tweeting a loss as a win, it shows you what's wrong with the NBA for the prolonged periods of tanking. But that Nets, I don't think they're an auto fade because they can get hot and they can get stops. And we talked about the Bucks losing their identity, and although the Pacers were never a championship team, I know Siakam technically made them better, but they did kind of lose that identity as like the Sonic the Hedgehog fastest team, right? I mean, they were just up and down the floor. They were the embodiment of 7 seconds or less. And now to me, they're just an above average team. I mean, are they even above average? Are they an average team? I know I love Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's going to continue to get better. But just... I don't know. You got Siakam. He's cool, right? But is he going to be a good number two? Turner, he's cool, but he's what? I mean, literally an average center. He's cool what he can do with the way he plays. He doesn't really lift you. Matherin's out for the season. I like Obi Toppin, but they wouldn't have made a trade for Siakam if they really had thought that he had some sort of future there. So, I don't know. I'm not necessarily that high on the Pacers this year. Okay, those are my thoughts from last night. Let's dive into tonight.
Just a quick update, because I know you and everyone watching dying to know. 8 players were ejected.
Just ejected? So does that mean they're able to be replaced?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I just thought it'd be funny to see, like, 2-on-2 and a
For
goalie.
sure. I think they limit to like 3-on-3, I think is the worst you can do.
Do they?
And then
Okay.
it just becomes like a longer penalty.
Okay.
And the beef, the Rangers have been getting in so much trouble with teams recently. I was trying to figure out what this beef was. The Rangers have this 6'7" rookie guy is just a behemoth, a real goon, just bringing back the enforcer title. And he like damn near broke a player's jaw when they last played the Devils. So that was enough to get the fights going. And that is your hockey breakdown.
Where are the Devils from?
New Jersey.
And they haven't made him change that name?
Devils?
I'm surprised.
I mean, Duke's still kicking it too.
And Arizona.
Like
State.
I don't get the joke, and I don't know if I want to ask. But since
it wasn't good, let's just go straight to the game.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, let's talk basketball.
Yeah, the Hawks, who great name by the way. Nothing better than a flying bird of prey to represent your basketball team.
Hey, and shout out to a city having a bird name that actually has that bird in their city.
Who doesn't?
Arizona Cardinals.
Well, they're from St. Louis.
Right. I guess the Pelicans are okay. Shoot, there's another one. Well, I mean, Baltimore Ravens, that's a Poe reference, which is way cooler than just naming a bird.
Isn't that so funny that it was just basically based out... Oh, Ravens. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, okay, that's great. I was thinking of Raptors. How it was just based off, like, the Jurassic Park fad of the time.
Is that really what it was?
Yeah, because Jurassic Park was so popular. That's why Raptors won.
I didn't even know how they got that name. That's hilarious.
Yeah. I like how Clyde doesn't think basketball is a physical sport. Glad to have you here, Clyde.
You know what's crazy too, Clyde, is like players don't really get hurt in hockey. It's insane.
Yeah. I don't get it. All right. The Atlanta Hawks, great mascot, take on the Dallas Mavericks. Another great mascot. I mean, these actually fit the cities.
Yes, sir.
It was fantastic. I was telling my buddy last night, if I were to fix the NBA, the first thing I would do is the Jazz would be in New Orleans. And Lakers fans are going to hate this, but have you ever been to the Los Angeles Lake? No. I would change.
I mean, there's a lake. There's a tiny one in Echo Park. It's about as close as you're going to find to a lake.
Isn't it man-made too?
Oh yeah.
How many bodies are in there? Do you think?
It's I don't think it's that deep. I don't think you can hide in that one.
I was reading the history of Tahoe, and they were like, because back in the 50s and the 60s, Reno was bigger than Las Vegas. Las Vegas was just a small desert town. Reno was this beautiful area. Mm-hmm. And in fact, fun trivia fact, because me and my buddies go down there, and it's just the most rundown, broke, cheapest casino. The Cal Neva is actually the weekend. The Marilyn Monroe spent her last weekend in the Cal Neva, hanging out with Frank Sinatra before she passed away.
Good for her.
So yeah, but they were talking about how many bodies they think the mob put in Lake Tahoe, and it's probably insane. Where else were we going with this? Oh, the lake in LA. Oh, Echo Park.
Yes.
God, I can't remember the name. Have you ever seen the movie about the female Mexican gangsters? Fuck, I can't remember the name off it right now. I'll look it up later. And like the main character, her name's like Mousy.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
It's like a 90s gangster. Oh, it's so legit. I almost want to rewatch it right now. I'm going to find that during one of your breakdowns, and we'll move back to it.
Okay.
We're gonna attempt take 3 to actually break down a basketball game here on the NBA rundown. God. Yeah, Clyde, have you seen it? I'm going to look it up right now. Atlanta Hawks, 2 games just went off the board for me. The Dallas Mavericks are minus 11.5, totals 228. JC, I can only look one way here, and that would be to the Mavericks. However, I don't think I want to play it. I don't think the Hawks are playing that bad. And wait a second. Where's my guy? Where's Jalen Johnson? He's coming off the bench? That's weird. Okay, but with Jalen Johnson back in there, I don't want to fade him. However, I'm not fading the Mavericks right now. Either this game, it's a square game to me. I like the Mavericks in the over. Break down this game real quick, and then I'll give some trends and some stats.
I don't get the spread. Atlanta's been playing solid basketball. They're like winning games outright, and so they're gonna go to Dallas and be a 12-point underdog. I know Dallas has been they've been playing very well too, but not to the point where they should be a 12-point favorite on Atlanta. They're coming off against that loss against Golden State. They just got a weird trend. It's hard to kind of dissect Dallas's recent game history because it's like they lost to Golden State, they beat Houston by 18, whoop-de-doo, and then they had back-to-back with Sacramento, back-to-back with Utah. And we know, that's just not the best data to use to decide how well a team is playing. But Atlanta's playing well enough that I would absolutely not lay 12 to them. However, I don't like the bet because especially with how Atlanta plays, like you never really know when they're just going to go out there and lay an egg. But being given 12 points and even plus 520 on the money line, that's a hard offer to pass up.
All right. So you like taking the points here, huh?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you know what? I could be talked into it. You made some good points. The Jalen Johnson's one of the huge things there. Dallas has blown a couple of good teams out, though. They blew out the Kings by, 36 points. They blew out Houston by 18. They only beat Utah by 10. Yeah, okay. What do you think of the total there? Actually, I'll give you some more numbers here.
Okay.
Probably one of the reasons the number is so high is Atlanta is only 13-24 against the spread. They're only 13-23 as an underdog. However, they are 2-0. It's happened twice when they're catching between 10.5 and 13.5. They're only 9-15 as a road underdog, and they're only 13-18 against teams that win 55% of the game. Also, they're on a back-to-back. That probably has a lot to do with it. They're 5-8 on back-to-backs. Well, Dallas has had a day off. Dallas did cover the one time they met earlier. Dallas only 18-19 at home, but 29-17 as a favorite. However, they do much better on the road as a favorite. They're 12-12 as a home favorite. There's what we have there. Atlanta 6-1 straight up though in their last 7 games, and they've gone over in 8 of their last 9. 8 of their last 9. Dallas gone under in 8 of their last 9. So let's stay away from that total. I think you can talk me into the plus 11.5. Anything more on this one before we move on?
No, I like that over. I think it's a much better way to play it because I think either way, whether Atlanta's able to keep it close or Dallas blows them out, like Atlanta's good for like 105 at least. So I think that's a much better way to play it, and that is the bet I'm going to place. I'm going to sprinkle that money line just because that's too juicy number to pass up. But officially, I think the over is a great look.
All right. The Philadelphia 76ers are +2. They're in Miami. They're taking on the Heat. JC, so I told you I had original looks on everything here.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking towards Miami here. If Embiid plays, though, do I still want that ticket? Am I better off just waiting for the news here? Also, Jimmy Butler, game time decision. I expect Butler to play, but bro, have I just been terrible at guessing these injury designations? So I'm not going to force things here. Let's just for the sake of the show and not going on every single permutation of the possibilities. Let's just assume Butler plays, and then let's talk about how we approach this depending on the Embiid news. I mean, if this line was higher, which makes me think that the books or people betting into the books think that Embiid's going to play. It's -2 right now on a total of 209. I kind of want to take the Heat, but the way injury news has been killing me lately, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, number one, I'm never touching a total of a Miami game. That's just not something I'm going to do. If there's no Embiid, yeah, I think Miami's a safe play.
Even though the line will move to like 4.5, right?
Yes.
It's gonna move at least 3 points.
Yeah,
It
I'm just trying
was
to think
three and
about
a half when I woke up, and
yes, I
I've
was
been
just
up for a
thinking about
while.
whether or not Butler's playing. But sure, if we're gonna work with the assumption Butler's
Yeah, let's
playing
just
and
work with that assumption, and then
no Embiid, yeah, probably at least 4.5. If Embiid plays though, I like Philly outright. It's crazy. I want to say what a different team it is, but it's kind of like we were talking about San Antonio. It's just that his presence elevates things so much. So 4.5 though. I mean, yeah, I'd say just wait it
I
out.
mean, because here's the other option. I bet it at 2 right now, and he gets ruled in. Do I still like that bet if he's in? I don't know if I do.
No, like I said, I like Philly outright if Embiid plays, but you could always do it and buy yourself out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many of these games he missed, but Miami is 5-1 the last 6 times that they've hosted Philadelphia in Miami. Um, it doesn't surprise me because Philadelphia has traditionally been really good at home and kind of average on the road. What's up, my guy Daniel Barry? Yeah, Logan missed. It wasn't much of a rant, but yeah, I kind of talked a little bit about how they downgraded coaches there. Um, Yeah, Philadelphia is 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 and 4-1 against the spread in their last 5 on the road. However, they were catching a lot more points in all those games than they're catching now. Let me pull some of those actual games up just to
Embiid has
that.
only played in one of their last 6 against Miami.
So yeah, see that number's worthless for me, huh?
Right.
There was a joke. Who did it? Someone since he left. I think it was Pat Bev. He was on Philly, right?
Well, he left Philly, correct? I mean, yeah.
When he left, he went on a podcast, and probably his podcast, and he said specifically, Embiid specifically makes sure to play against the shitty teams and sit out against the better teams because he wants to run up his numbers. And he just said it straight out. I don't know how this got missed. Maybe because it's Pat Bev, and people just thought he was trying to incite stuff.
Well, yeah, and
but
people
they
say
said he
Barstool,
specifically will plan his rest days against the best teams so he can average like 35 and 15.
Mm-hmm. And the one game he did play in, Miami did win. So, but Philly also won once without him. So, yeah.
All right. So let's kind of look at Philly here. So yeah, see, they caught 8 against Cleveland. I think we were on them there, and they only lost by 3, right? They cost 6.5 against the Clippers. They only lost by 1. They caught 7.5 against us. They did not cover. I was on that game too. I was on the other side. And then they covered against Toronto, which means nothing to me. Even that cover against OKC, I don't necessarily rate that highly because I bitched about it yesterday on the show. But with Jalen Williams ruled out, I mean, OKC just did not have a chance on offense. So there we go. Philly is 21-17 on the road against the spread. Miami only 15-22 at home, which is weird. Heat and Warriors are a couple teams that have flipped. Where a couple years ago, you always bet them on the home, fade them on the road. Nuggets are kind of that way too. Mm-hmm. Now Heat are actually not as good at home. I wonder if the lines are just moving or if maybe that club is just getting boring for the players. I don't know. Maybe they ran through every single Miami girl there is. I don't know. Miami's also 2-1 against the spread against Philadelphia so far this year. That's all I got here. We're not betting this one, right?
No. No.
The only reason I would bet right now is the idea that you lay the 2, Embiid gets ruled out, it moves to 5, and you're happy.
Right.
Yeah. But other than that, you could get screwed, though. What if you lay the 2 and then Embiid's ruled out, like what happened to me on Tuesday?
Right.
You could lay the 2, Embiid gets ruled in, Butler gets ruled out.
Right.
Now it's going to be Philadelphia minus 3.5 probably.
Or in a world where they're both ruled out, like I don't really.
And I know you hate the totals here, but I think it's too low. I would take the over.
Really, if anything, if you were going to make me make a pick, I was thinking the under.
Here's the thing: it's so contingent on Embiid playing, though, because when we bet overs, we want free throws because we want the score to go up while the clock isn't moving, right? I mean, Whenever I bet a total, I like betting totals actually just for the constant math I'm doing in my head all game. I'm constantly correlating to see, okay, what does this project to right now, right? So, every second counts. And if Embiid's in there, we know he's a free throw merchant. And I think that helps the game go over with all the scoring that will happen with the clock stopped. Clyde, did you really take that, or did you take that bet from somebody else? Did you really handicap that yourself, Clyde? I want to know. All right, anything more on this game, JC?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that you said you like the over, and for what it's worth, Miami's last 3 wins against the 76ers, only one of them Embiid, but in all of them, the Heat scored at least 109.
Say that one more time. I'm sorry, I was reading Clyde's comments. I'm gonna just
all
close
good.
This down so I can see him for a little while.
Just read that too. So, the last 3 games, Miami has won against Philly.
Mm-hmm.
They've scored at least 109. Embiid did play in one of those.
So maybe a Miami team total over.
No, I'm just saying you take the over, you're safe, because 109, like Philly should be able to get at least 100 or right around. They're not going to bear down.
Miami's team total is 105.
No, don't. Because if Embiid plays, they could win. They'll win like 115 to 99. I would just take the over 209.
Got it. Okay. So, all right. A lean to the over there, huh? Okay.
Yes.
Let's keep it moving here. Let me go back. And I don't think the schedule's that bad as a fan tonight. I mean, there's no ridiculous spreads. I mean, the 11.5, right? But, I mean, the last couple nights, it's felt like we've had 3 or 4s that are between 13 and 17.
And as I said, I think that 11.5 is uncalled for.
Yeah. All right. Let me check the comments real quick. All right. Yeah, I knew it was from someone else. Clyde. All right. Let me get rid of that team total bet. All right. I've gone back and forth on this one, JC. I wanted to fade my Sacramento Kings. I wanted to so bad. But I don't know about Josh Hart. And from everyone that I talked to or listen to, they all say that Josh Hart is like Draymond, where like they're just way better with him. It doesn't matter what the stats are. That they kind of need him out there to do all that dirty, gritty stuff, right? That Draymond does. So they're basically saying do not play this game if Josh Hart sits. Also, OG was out on the injury report when I did my numbers this morning at 8 a.m. or whatever it was. Now he's been upgraded.
Wait, and OG? Anunoby?
Yes, it's upgraded now to what's green on here.
I'm seeing out indefinitely.
Well, see, that's what... Okay. I don't know why. So it's green on the RotoWire, but then when I click on it, it says he's out. All right, let's just assume he's out.
Yeah.
I want the Knicks, but I want Josh Hart in there, so I'm waiting. I don't think he moves the line either, so it's not like waiting on the Embiid. And Clyde, I make fun of you, but I appreciate you putting some comments in here. Like it's fun to talk to the chat, so don't take anything the wrong way. So yeah, on that one, I'm waiting. I want Josh Hart news, and I want to play the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks kicked our ass in Sacramento, but Anunoby played that game. Since then, we've also lost Malik Monk and Kevin Huerter, which makes us worse. I know Herter's not a big deal, but it's the cluster right there, right? Because now instead of going from Monk to Huerter, you went from Monk to Duarte. Well, actually, it's Keon Ellis and Davion Mitchell taking some of the minutes. Okay, so anyways, that's my thoughts on that game. I wanted to bet the Knicks, but we need that Josh Hart news. What do you think?
I like the under.
Do you?
Yeah, based on how these teams play and how they play each other. I mean, New York's on the skid. They got to get right. Is this the spot they do it? I don't know. Sacramento's, you never know when they're going to show up. I mean, like you look,
right.
they can beat some good teams or they'll drop back to Dallas. So,
to be fair, Dallas is pretty good.
For sure, for sure. But but they're like Sacramento can play and beat good teams. They beat Orlando. They beat the Clippers for whatever that's worth. So I'm not certainly going to count them out. And again, I don't really like to bet a team that's on a losing skid like New York is.
Mhm.
But these teams both typically have lower scoring games, especially when playing in close games. Right, like all the high scoring ones is just them beating up on like a Toronto or Detroit. 213.5 would have gone under in 2 of their last 3. So yeah, that's I think the best play here.
And what's the total number here?
213.5.
It's so low for a Kings game. That is, oh my gosh. All right. Just to talk to you about some of the stats, though, here. The Kings have gone under more than over this year. They're not an over team. That's memories of last year haunting us. Also, the Knicks have gone under 42 times. They've gone over 33 times. I'm going to say those just so it doesn't get tricky. The Knicks have gone under 24 times at home, over 14 times. Kings have gone under 22 times on the road, 14 on the road. So both teams are going over. If you combine them, it's 37% over for Knicks at home combined with Kings on the road. So there's an argument for your under. The question is, did the line already bake that in? The Kings have not played a game yet this season where the line is between 212 and 215. So we don't have any data for that. The Knicks have gone over 4 times out of 6 when the line was between 212 and 215. That's so opponent dependent, though. I don't know how much it helps. I think it's just more of a funny.
Probably like against Miami or something.
No,
yeah,
I think
their last game at Miami over under 205.
Yeah.
Total was 208.
Yeah, and we did go under when they kicked our ass in Sacramento, and that was about a month ago. Okay, well, I think we've said what we've had to say here. Like I said, I'm waiting for the injury report. And do you agree, though, if Josh Hart plays, will you join me with the Knicks and lay the points? The great part about waiting on this is I don't think Josh Hart moves the needle. Even though he does for me, I don't think he's going to move it for the casual bettor or the sports books. Whereas Embiid and Butler obviously do.
Sure. I mean, these Knicks, they're my team. But to be honest, I have not watched hardly any Knicks or Kings basketball this year. So, I really feel clueless on this. But you feel passionate enough that I'll just ride with you so you can feel good about it.
Great. So we're agreeing. You hear that, Clyde? You hear that? Now what? Yeah. This ain't first take, Clyde. Golden State Warriors are minus 3.5 in Houston, taking on the Rockets. Totals 228. Warriors minus 158 on the money line. JC, I've gone back and forth on this one. I've gone back and forth on the side. Let's see. This is essentially an elimination game for the Rockets. Because if they were to lose tonight, they would have to win out and Golden State would have to lose every game or something, right? I mean, it's essentially an elimination game for the Rockets. However, the Warriors are aware of that, and they understand it's kind of like a play-in clincher for them. If they win tonight, they've essentially clinched that number 10, and now they can maybe rest a little bit going into the play-in and not have to fight all the way to the end. And being a veteran team, I think that means a lot to them.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's excellent at home against the spread, 26-11. Golden State, excellent on the road against the spread, which is wild because they used to be the number 1 fade on the road last year, 25-12 against the spread on the road. So all of a sudden, this is a road Warriors team. Rockets also 12-6 against the spread as a home underdog. That's 66%. However, Golden State's 13-4 against the spread as a road favorite, 76%. These are great arguments either way. These teams have played twice. They've split against the spread. Both teams had a day off, so there's no fatigue advantage here. Break down the side, and then I'll go into what my play on this game is because it's not on the side.
I mean, you got to go all the way back to 2020 to find the last time Houston beat Golden State. Golden State's on a heater. Golden State wants to get in the playoffs. So I don't really.
To be fair, Houston sucked until this year, though. I mean, they had
Sure.
they had 2, 3 players starting last year towards the end of the year that aren't even in the league right now.
Sure, but even in November, I mean, yeah, and they were really bad back then. But still, the more important thing is Golden State's on a heater. They want to get in the playoffs, and they just want to clinch that and have it done. And this team, they know what they're getting into. They know the stakes, so I trust them to get the job done. And at 3.5, 4, I'm not really going to trip on the spread. I'll just go ahead and take Golden State.
I don't know if I like that money line parlay, Clyde, but that's just because I'm kind of lost on the side. You know what I do like though, JC, is the under. I mean, we just went over how this is going to be a virtual play-in / playoff game. That means it's going to be physical. I mean, they're probably going to let them play, and I think Houston's going to try and slow down the pace. Houston has been a defensive team this year. That's the key to their success. When the numbers between 226 and 229, oh wait, it's gone over 9 times. Never mind, I completely read this wrong. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be as strong on this under here. I was going to be really, really high on the under, but these trends aren't necessarily helping me get there. Total's gone over in 6 of their last 7 home games as well. Okay, I was on the under, but boy, there's a lot of reasons not to be. This is just my day in a nutshell, JC. It's like I latch onto a side through my just reading the game and, what do I think? And then I dive into it a little more. And everything that I get comes back opposite. So, I don't know. What do you think? I mean, okay. If I had to play this before hearing what you have to say, I would say Warriors minus 3.5, under 228. But I don't love it. I don't love it at all.
No, I mean, I'm not crazy about that total either. Just like looking at the scores that these teams have been playing, it's kind of been all over the place. And individually, they've done their part to carry this total, but they've been able to keep opponents' scores down. So I don't know what the end result is going to look like.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Golden State go under in 4 of their last 5 games. They did go over in a win against San Antonio, 117-113 with a total of 227.5. And that's kind of plausible here tonight. We talked about Houston going over recently. They went over when they lost to Minnesota. They went over when they lost to Dallas. They were under in their win against Utah. And they went over in that win over OKC, which is, I mean, pretty much one of their best wins of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And they went under against Portland, but Portland didn't really do their part there. Okay, yeah, see, I'm all over the place on this game, man. I mean, I really think if it was like one of those like assignments where we did have a producer and they told us to disagree last night, that you could have given me anything and I can argue it. Final thoughts on this one?
I'm just taking Golden State.
I mean, do you want to make an impassioned plea here to get me to join you?
Both teams are playing for their playoff lives.
Right.
Do you want to take a team that had 10 wins last season? Or do you want to take the team that, is a dynasty and is looking for, one more dance?
Yeah. I think that's a good point, right? I think Golden State does have the experience advantage. I think they have...
And they're playing like it. Like by them going and winning their last 5, 4 of which were on the road.
5-game win streak, right?
What?
They're on a 5-game win streak, right?
Yeah, and 4 of those games were on the road.
Yeah.
This team is just ready. It's ready to take care of business.
Yeah. And they look good in that win against Dallas. I was on Dallas, and that was 2 nights ago. And I thought Dallas was the easiest bet. I actually put more than I usually put on it. And for them to beat Dallas, I know that was at home, but still, as much as I like Houston, right? I mean, they're just two different levels of team. All right, we'll talk a little bit.
And the thing is, too, man, when you're on the fence about a pick like that, sometimes you just got to think about it, and which is going to make you feel more stupid. How stupid you can feel if you bet Houston and Golden State wins. If you bet Golden State, Houston wins, you just you throw your hands up.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Houston's been so good at home, though. Okay, final game, JC.
Yes, sir.
I think this
Best
is the one
on
I
the
like
slate.
the most.
Yep.
I think this is the one I like the most. The Denver Nuggets are -3.5 in Los Angeles, taking on the Clippers. However, the Clippers do not have Kawhi Leonard playing tonight. Aaron Gordon is a game-time decision. Jokic is a game-time decision. Jamal Murray, I don't expect him to play, so let's just count on him being out.
Correct.
Do you think that Jokic and Gordon are going to be enough for them to beat the Clippers without Paul George, who...
You mean Leonard?
Without Kawhi Leonard, who didn't look that good against Kings without Kawhi. And I thought that game they would look faster, and with Powell in there, they'd have more offense. Harden shot 14% from the floor in that game. I mean, maybe he turns it around tonight. I don't know. I think KCP is going to have something for him. Porter's been playing well. I like the Nuggets. This is the one I like the most. If I only had one bet tonight, I think I'd bet Nuggets -3.5 because I talked myself. I originally came into the slate, JC, thinking we would have two plays again. I would play the Nuggets -3.5, and I would take the under in the Warriors-Rockets game. I'm a little worried about that under now. I still feel pretty secure about this one. My only concern, I guess, would be I want both Gordon and Jokic in there. I want Gordon to really muck things up for PG because I think he can at this point of PG's career. I can't believe they're going to sign him for so much. I think that we're going to see the precipice. And I know that LeBron's great playing into 39. Not a lot of players have been able to do that. I talked about it at the beginning of the show. And I know PG's only going to be 34 or 35. But this is normally about the time you'd hang him up. And I understand modern medicine and days off. But he's just not that guy to me anymore. So I'm looking at a team led by Paul George and a slumping James Harden going against Jokic and Gordon. Yeah, I'm laying 3.5. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's this LA team. I've been waiting for this. Everyone's been all high on them all season long, and it's just
myself included.
Yeah, and I knew this was coming, and they're just so inconsistent. This is again, it's kind of similar to that Golden State Houston game. It's like you want to give LA that look. You look at their last four, and they had a nice win against Orlando. Certainly concerned if Jokic isn't playing, like that definitely kind of changes things. But still, Denver's good. Denver's deep. LA in their last 20 games or so have been especially horrible against good teams. So there's no real case to be made for LA other than you want to say, Gordon and Jokic are probably out.
Or a potential Denver letdown spot or a potential bounce back spot where it's kitchen sink time because alarm bells have to be ringing after you lose like that to the Kings. I mean, I know statistically they're not bad, but still in our head and in the player's head, right? It's still the Kings. Right? It's not losing to the Bucks or the Heat or the Celtics.
And the Nuggets are tied for first in the West, so it's very important that they continue to win games.
Right, and they're getting kind of with the injuries that Oklahoma City's suffering, and they don't have any of the tiebreakers, so they need to be the game ahead. Because I could be wrong, but the last time I looked, I think that Minnesota and OKC both had tiebreakers over them. So they need to be free and clear by the full game. Okay, well, we definitely have a play there, right? Thoughts on the totals?
I was trying to make a play because I was good. Mm-hmm.
I think
do a little
the Nuggets
parlay.
play correlates with the under, but kind of like I did with Washington yesterday. Why bet 2 units on what's essentially the same handicap? So I'll take the -3.5.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we got that one. All right, let's go through. Since Tyler's not with us today, I'm going to have you help me out with the sheet.
Let's do it.
Do we want to make Hawks official?
I like the over better.
Over 227?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't hate the plus 12 if you like it enough. I wouldn't tell you not to.
I kind of like the points better.
No.
They're completely correlated though. It's almost the same bet.
I don't think they are.
If this game goes under, it's because the Hawks only put up 102 points.
But even if that happens, I think Dallas can still put up 125.
That's fair. Okay, JC.
For whatever it's worth, when they played in January, it was 148 to 143.
Okay, you sold me. All right, we got one bet in. So we have one official play, Atlanta Hawks over. We decided 76ers Heat is wait for the news, right?
Yeah.
No reason to take a stand. Okay, Kings Knicks. I hate to say it, but we're waiting for Josh Hart news. What the fuck is my life coming to?
I don't know.
All right, but we're waiting. Warriors, did you want to jump in and make the 3.5 official? And was I able to sway you on that under with the idea that it will be a playoff style game?
I'm just going to take the 3.5. I don't hate your argument.
You mean lay the 3.5.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the bet I was going to take is the minus 3.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about that total. Like I said, because I could just if this game is ugly, like I think it very well could be, I don't think Houston's going to hold up their end of that total.
I'm going under though.
Oh right. All right, but what are the odds this turns into a shootout? Pretty low.
I think pretty low.
Yeah. Hang on, I'm just trying to see. Yeah. And it's not Houston's not going to dog Golden State. And looking at Golden State, they're not going to put up 120 even if they blow out. Like it'll probably be like 115 to 100. Yeah, all right. You talked me into it.
So we'll go over Hawks, under here. JC likes the Warriors. Bro, I'm such a Warriors fan. Can you believe I'm doing this? Remember how much I loved the Warriors when we were doing all the shows last year? JC, I wear my Warriors shirt every day.
No, I know. I mean, this is just a very
for having 7 favorite teams.
This is just a very different team.
Yeah. All right. So we're going over on the Hawks.
Yes.
Denver Nuggets minus 3.5 and under on the Golden State Warriors. Those will be our official plays. God, I kind of want to add that Warriors too. Check the sheet, guys. We might add it later. I'll talk to Tyler and see what he thinks. JC, any more NBA thoughts?
Man, I'm feeling good about tonight. My hockey, I was kind of all over the place in hockey today. Like I only ended up, I think it was like 2 plays, maybe 3. Just couldn't quite get there. I'm liking our NBA picks. So I would love to have a good night in basketball. That'd be really nice.
All right, just to go back, and JC, if you're like employed by me, I would make this mandatory as part of your paycheck, but unfortunately you're not, so I can't enforce this. But the movie set in Echo Park is Mi Vida Loca. And I just pulled it up real quick. It follows the lives of best friends Mousy and Sad Girl as they navigate life, love, family, gang life, and their friendships. Great movie, guys. Make sure you watch it. But we're not done yet because, JC, words of wisdom from you.
Well, I'm looking up Mi Vida Loca. So, I mean, I'm trying to see. Bro, I don't even know where I'd watch this.
Yeah, let me see if I can say stream.
Dude, there's not. Like with Google, you can Google it and it'll let you know all the streaming services it's on.
Yeah.
Nothing's popping up because I got a 14-hour flight tomorrow, so I'd probably watch it. This. Oh
yeah, I'm looking.
All right, people, bear with us as we try to locate.
Yeah, I don't think you can. Here, I'm going on Prime right now. Okay, it's currently unavailable to watch in my location. I can't even buy it.
Did it get canceled or something?
I'm trying to think.
Because now I really want to watch this.
I'm wondering why you can't watch it. Yes, I looked up on Real Good. That's actually a cool name. Streaming availability on 0 services.
Why? We gotta get to the
Yeah.
bottom of this. The people want to know.
You can't even rent or buy it anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Like, the app I went to is the one where like, yeah, all the movies I bought are downloaded, and it's not.
I wonder if they had like something happen in there where they found out like someone was like under 18 or something.
Here are the 27 Latino films Congress nominated for the National Film Registry. I think that's opposite. That sounds like a good thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we ever find that, if it's ever out somewhere, I'll let everyone know. That was kind of a fun end of the show. All right, JC, thanks for joining me today on a short notice. We gave Tyler a much needed day off. This league has been driving him insane. For those who've been watching, no. And you're leaving tomorrow, right? So I won't be here. I won't be able to join you tomorrow. But
Right.
I might go early tomorrow. I might. It's a great slate, but I kind of want to go hiking before the games, so I might do one of those 9 a.m. shows. I'm going to check the weather and all that stuff, and I'll update it. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. Clyde, thank you for chatting, man. I always love reading your comments.
Let me know when you go live, and maybe I'll join you from the Minneapolis airport.
That would be fun. All right, sounds good. Thank you, everybody. Nuke the house.
Later.